Okay, before we get started, if you haven't already seen the Unreal Engine 5 tech demo video, go watch it. Go watch it right now. It is absolutely, amazingly, stunningly beautiful. Okay, and just in and of itself, you have to watch it. Open up a new tab or whatever, push pause, I'll wait. Okay, you seen it? Okay, now, after having just watched the tech demo of whatever that game is, even if it is going to be a game, probably it kind of looked like a Tomb Raider thing, but then at the end of the video, she kind of flies, so it takes, anyway. After having watched whatever game that is or may be, or even if it is, by a show of hands, how many of you wanted to play that game? Right? And I'm not even a console gamer. Okay? I am like a straight, PC master race son of a bitch. And I'm watching, I'm watching this video and I'm going, I might actually buy a PS5. I might actually buy a PlayStation. Right? And that's the problem. Okay? Because I ended up watching the video again because I was so amazed I wanted to see it again. And on the second viewing of that tech demo video, I noticed something. And that was the gameplay sucked. I understand it's a demo. But hear me out here, okay? In the demo, all the player would have done was walked, jumped the two little cliff areas, walked some more, did some rock climbing, walked some more, and put that light thing or interacted with that pedestal, and then walked and flew. But that's it. That gameplay sucked. Was boring as hell. But none of us cared. None of us. If the animation and graphics on that demo wasn't anywhere close to as beautiful as that was, we would have saw that demo of a game, so to speak, and would have gone, that looks boring. Like, can we have some gameplay? Can we see something? But because the graphics were so goddamn amazing, none of us cared that the gameplay is boring or such. We are just... The Unreal Engine 5 is going to be absolutely amazing for interactive, like, movie type games. But for actual video games, this is gonna suck, because none of us are going to want to play any of those games because the gameplay looks interesting. By having just seen that tech demo video and going, I want to play whatever game that demo was of or even is, establishes none of us cared about the gameplay. All we cared about was the graphics. And one of the biggest complaints, well, there's over a dozen at least, but one of the main complaints is that the games focus more on graphics than they do on gameplay. Well, this Unreal Engine 5 is pretty much, the graphics on goddamn steroids. Gamers are going to buy, PS5 games, not for the title, not for the gameplay, not for but for just to be able to experience the game. Which is another thing. I don't actually think, wild theory, right, is that I don't think this is meant for gamers. Because we're already going to play games. We're already going to play the games. It's not like, oh my god, we're not going to play the next COD or you guys aren't going to play the next COD, or you guys aren't going to play the next Last of Us, or you're not going to play, whatever, because the graphics aren't that amazing. You're going to play them because you love the game, you love the series. But with the Unreal Engine 5, you're going to have people who have no interest in video games see the graphics on the of this engine and go, wow, they're going to want to... this is geared to non-gamers to try and get them to play a game that they wouldn't play otherwise. I don't want to name names, but I know people, okay, who aren't gamers, but have played, Detroit Become Human. Not because they're gamers and they love the game, but because of the story, because it's an interactive game. You take the Unreal Engine 5 and you apply that to interactive games, they are going to be the new best-selling games. Okay? And that's a problem because, again, there are great interactive games. I mean, L.A. Noire, Fahrenheit, Heavy Rain, I was going to say Mass Effect, but Mass Effect kind of. BioShock, right? There are good interactive action-adventure games, but they're interactive action-adventure games. They're not video games. I mean, God of War was kind of, and then you had, The Walking Dead, and Borderlands too, because Borderlands was kind of more stylistic art, but it was more story than it was like the game. Like with Borderlands, it's a game. It's a game we've already played 100 times in 100 different games. The only reason Borderlands was even above the rest was because of the stylized art and the actual great story and characters and the bad guy. The problem I have with the Unreal Engine 5 is that it's going to make it so that gameplay is going to be even less of a priority for games now, right? Because it's like L.A. Noire, I think, was one of the best examples of it, where it was getting high review scores simply because of the graphics of it. Games on the Unreal Engine 5 are going to be heavily favored based mainly on their graphics. I'm calling it now. 90% of the games that are going to be able to incorporate the full effects that the Unreal Engine 5 is going to be able to provide, all the reviews, 90% of the reviews are going to be heavily based on the amazing special effects and graphics of the game. Okay? And they're probably going to be like maybe a paragraph or two, mildly talking about how the gameplay may be mediocre or whatever, but look how beautiful it is. And you see, I am an old school gamer. I played games from like the dinosaur years of video games or PC games, right? Like I'm used to games that were made were made with 128K, okay, like Wizardry 1 and Ultima and there was a Star Trek strategy game from like the 1980s. It was just absolutely amazing. Like the graphics were just simply a little grid, and it was just 8-bit figures of ships. Not even that. I think they were like axes, but the strategy and the anyway. The point is, the games have gone from when they started where the graphics were absolutely minimal, and it required to compensate for the lack of graphics, to have absolutely amazing gameplay. And that ratio has shifted to the point where now it's like, it used to have to be 90% gameplay, 10% graphics, simply because the technology just didn't exist to even do that. And there was a lot of cheats. I mean, Doom basically cheated with the 3D graphics, like the isometric games, right? Like even the original Fallout, right? Like the isometric games, again, the graphics were amazing for the time, but without the game. What I'm trying to say is that the pendulum has switched to the point where now it's 90% graphics and 10% gameplay and story. And the Unreal Engine 5, as beautiful as it is and as amazing as it is, I think is going to just push that imbalance even further, and less people are going to care that the gameplay is mediocre or repetitive or boring because it looks so beautiful. I mean, hell, that was one of Skyrim's major benefits, right? Is that it looked beautiful. Sorry, the gameplay sucked. I mean, I could do a video on Skyrim. I mean, Jesus Christ. Anyway, as much as I love the graphic capabilities of the Unreal Engine 5, I think that this is going to be a disservice to video games in general as opposed to a benefit. And it's catering to the wrong. It's the Unreal Engine 5's absolutely beautifully stunning, amazing graphics is not focusing on what needs to be focused on in video games. And this is going to further distract any necessity to even implement good gameplay. Because again, even like the aliens, yes, there are exceptions, but I'm sorry. Again, I just after having watched that 6-minute demo of whatever game that may or may not have been, 99% of us were going, we want to play that game, based solely on nothing but the graphics. And that's the problem. Okay? You can't, it shouldn't be that way. Okay? It shouldn't be, we want to play a game just because it looks so amazingly beautiful. Obviously, it's not going to mean anything because everybody's going to buy a PS5 and everybody's going to be buying the games and they're all going to be looking beautiful and they're going to make millions of dollars or hundreds of millions. I know it's irrelevant, but everybody's gushing over this, and I just wanted to inject, a little bit of, there is a downside to the absolutely stunningly beautiful graphics of the Unreal Engine 5. Anyway, just my 2 cents, I guess. Anyway, I'm out of here. See ya.